Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are jumping right into the absolute essentials for navigating daily life in French. We're talking numbers, dates, and time, basically the toolkit you need to do everything from ordering in a cafe to catching a train in Paris. Let's get into it. Okay, so picture this. You're in Paris, you find this amazing-looking bistro, and you want to book a table. How do you actually say, a table for two at 8 p.m.? Well, these are exactly the kinds of everyday situations that hinge on what we're covering today. These are the keys that unlock real practical French conversation.
All right, let's dive right in with our first big building block, the numbers. You know, les nombres. They are everywhere. Prices, times, addresses, you name it. It might look a little intimidating at first, but I promise you there is a logic to it, and we're going to crack that code together.
You know, everything starts with a solid foundation. So let's run through these together. Just try repeating them after me. Ready? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Getting these down really solid is going to make everything else just click into place. Now, here's our first little quirk. Just like in English where we have 11 and 12 instead of 1, French has its own unique names for the numbers from 11 up to 16. So we've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Just think of these as their own little special group that you got to memorize.
And here is the good news. After 16, a really simple and logical pattern kicks in. For instance, 17 is 17, which is literally 10-7. 45 is 45, or 45. See? It's just basic addition. The only tiny little exception is for numbers that end in 1, like 21, which is 21. You just add that little which means and. Simple enough, right?
All right, take a deep breath. Because from 70 to 99, this is where French decides to have a little bit of fun. Now, don't think of this as hard. Just think of it as creative. It's one of the language's most famous quirks, and honestly, once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty cool.
So let's break this down. It's really just some simple math. 70 or 70 isn't a new word. It's just 60-10. Easy. Then for 80, we get 80, which literally means 4 20s. Then 90, 90, just builds on that. It's 4 20s 10. It's a little piece of history in the language, and thinking of it as simple math makes it way less scary.
And after all that creative counting, we get to a nice, simple, easy number. 100 is just cent. Shoo. From here on out, the patterns get way more straightforward again. You've officially made it through the hardest part.
So, now that we have a handle on numbers, let's start filling in our calendar. The calendrier. This is absolutely essential for making plans, booking travel, and of course, telling people when your birthday is.
Let's just run through the days of the week. Les jours de la semaine. Try to feel the rhythm here. Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche. And here's a great little pro tip for you. Unlike in English, the days of the week are never capitalized in French.
Okay, and now for the months. A lot of these are going to look really familiar. Janvier, février, mars, avril. As I go through them, listen for the ones that sound similar and find your birthday month. It's a great way to practice, saying something like, Mon anniversaire est en juillet. My birthday is in July.
All right, our final section. We've got numbers, we've got dates, so now we have to talk about telling time, or l'heure. Knowing how to ask quelle heure est-il, what time is it, and being able to answer is just, well, it's a crucial skill for being on time for anything.
And here's some more good news. Telling time starts with one really simple phrase. The structure is pretty much always il est followed by the hour. So if you want to say it's 3 o'clock, it's simply il est 3 heures. See? Super straightforward.
Now, this is a really key cultural point. In writing, like on train schedules or official documents, you're going to see the 24-hour clock, like 14H00. But when people are just talking, in everyday conversation, they'll usually use the 12-hour clock and just add a little context, like 2 heures de l'après-midi for 2 p.m. or 9 heures du soir for 9 p.m.
And just like we do in English, there are special words for noon and midnight. You wouldn't really say 12 o'clock. Instead, you'll hear il est midi for noon, and for midnight, it's il est minuit. So what about the half hour? That's another easy one. You just add et demi, which just means and a half.
So 7:30 becomes Il est 7h30. It's just one more simple piece to add to that core phrase we learned.
Okay, so we have covered a lot of ground. Numbers, days, months, time. We've got all the individual pieces of the puzzle. But now comes the most important part, which is actually putting them all together so you can use them in a real conversation.
So let's just do a quick recap. The main thing to remember is that French numbers, even the tricky ones, are all based on logic and patterns. For days and months, it's all about rhythm and repetition. And telling time always comes back to that one simple starter, il est. Seriously, the best way to make all of this stick is to practice with numbers from your own life.
So I'll leave you with a final challenge to connect all of these dots. How would you say, I have a meeting with a friend on Saturday at 3 p.m.? Think about the day, the number, the time of day. This is exactly how you go from just learning the rules to actually speaking the language. You got this. Bravo.